Hi there, my name is Kendrick, and today I get to interview Sanya. So Sanya, welcome.
Hello, nice to meet you, Kendrick.
Yeah, nice to meet you too. Can you tell us your full type, please?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so I'm an ESFJ jumper, and in the OPS type is double feminine, Fe-Ne, plague, feminine sensory. Had to just double check what my animals were. Play, consume, blast, sleep.
All right. And what did you think and how did you feel when you got your results back?
Um, okay, so I've been telling myself all month, I'm just gonna accept it. I'm not gonna question it. And I knew that was not going to happen. So of course I was like, what? ESFJ, what? I did not see play first at all. I thought like maybe I'd have play third. I I mean, FE wasn't like a massive shock because like I thought I was a feeler, but I didn't know if it was FE or FI. So it was like, okay, but I wouldn't have put it first. And then I stupidly went and read the Myers-Briggs descriptions of ESFJ. And I was just like, that's not me. Like, that's just so not me. I don't organize social events. I try and avoid social events if I can. It's like, I don't have this massive friend group. So it was like, and then I was just trying to make sense of it and had to kind of pick it apart for a few weeks. And now, like, I won't say I'm fully 100% on board, but I can sort of see more how I can definitely see why I was typed this type. But yeah, I still question it sometimes.
Oh, I see. Well, what part of it do you question personally?
So yeah, I think what I don't understand how I'm play first, but then I do have like double masculine consume second, so that might be stronger. That might be why it seems stronger to me. Because like I don't feel like I ping the tribe a lot, so I'm just like I don't understand. But yeah, that and I guess I can understand the FE, but I would never have put myself as FE first.
Yeah. Well, I'm talking to you right now, and you're very good at the back and forth thing. It
Oh
feels,
really? Oh
yeah,
okay.
yeah, it feels natural. So it's not like
Oh,
it's awkward or like you need to pause first to think. You can just,
oh God. Well,
go
maybe I
back.
should pause to think.
Yeah, yeah,
My life would be better if I paused to think more.
yeah. Well, you are sleep last, so yes, that's probably a good advice. But um,
Yeah.
yeah, it also makes sense. You're like lead NF, especially with your, background right there that clearly shows you're lead NF. Yeah,
I know. How did I not know? No, actually, I thought I was some sort of NF. I was like, I was looking through all the different types, and I'm like, the only one that kind of makes sense is NF, but I just couldn't figure out whether it was FI or FE.
yeah,
I was really stuck on that.
yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if you got typed as like an ENFP by accident or something. If we like,
Yeah. Well, in Myers-Briggs, I always typed as an INFP first. Like the first time I did the test, then the second time I did the test, I'd get something else. But
yeah,
always in every test, INFP.
right, right. Well, that makes sense because everyone types themselves upside down, right? So yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
And also the NE is obvious. So that one, you can't really hide that one. Like I'm talking to you right now, and I'm like, okay, yeah, we're talking the same language of NE. You know,
Oh, okay. All right, cool.
yeah,
You can pick up on it.
yeah,
Yeah, and he's pretty strong. Even though it's like third in the stack, I think it's the function I feel most comfortable in. It's like the one that I will run to. Well, that
yeah,
I feel that I run to. Maybe apparently I run to FE, but I can't see that.
yeah,
Yeah, it's definitely like one of my most comfortable areas.
yeah. And your FE and your NE is also masculine, also. So
Oh my goodness. Yeah, exactly. So good luck, everyone.
yeah. Well, let's start with that. So with masculine NE, are you very confident with like the patterns and stuff that you see?
Yeah, I'm confident, but it doesn't mean I'm accurate. I'm confident in them, and but I don't care if I get them wrong, which
Right.
I often do. So yeah, but I'm not scared to guess. Like I'll happily take a guess or go, oh yeah, I can see how that connects, blah blah blah. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It's like, okay, whatever, move on to the next one.
Yeah. I think long time ago there's this saying, I don't know if it's still a thing, but like they call it like women's intuition or something. And like they know when something is like up. And I feel like maybe that's like women with like high intuition, you know.
Yeah.
They're like confident with guessing, especially with NE, because then you can see other people's patterns, you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
maybe that's how you're using it. Also with FE, so you can see like the tribe spectrum of emotions, and then you're kind of guessing at like.
Yeah, that could be how it comes out. Kind of trying to, yes, I do look for patterns in people. That's true. So that could be where that FE comes in. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, and NE also like it's like used to help people understand something. So maybe with your FE/NE, you can like explain to the tribe why someone's feeling the way they're feeling, you know, or something like that. I don't know if you do that, but maybe
yes, I definitely do that. Yeah, I definitely do that. And it can get annoying sometimes because I won't, you know, sometimes it's helpful to just sort of see one side of a situation. Even like if I'm alone, it's like you don't always need to look at every angle or both sides and try and explain away someone's reason. Just go like, no, they're an idiot, leave it at that. Instead of inside, I'm always thinking, oh, but what if they did that because of this or this? So it can get really annoying.
Yeah. I guess you're trying to link everything together, like this, but this could mean this, and this could mean this, you know?
Yeah.
And then you're stuck in a rabbit hole.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas like if you can just sort of pick one and stick to it, you could probably go further instead of like kind of circling around all the possibility. You're kind of moving forwards in circles instead of just going straight.
Yeah. Let's talk about your animal that you said that you see super obviously, which is the double masculine NT consume.
Okay. I've got notes just in case my brain blacks out.
Yeah, go for it. You can.
Which is highly likely.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, you can use your notes for sure. So NT consume. So that means if you're trying to solve something, you research to find a solution. Essentially, is that something that you're still doing?
Okay, yes, because I was trying to figure out, because I was like, I didn't understand how my consume was NT. I thought it was more NF, because like I kind of like woo-woo stuff. Yes. So, but yeah, I would try and research to try and solve something. That's true. Yeah, I get that. I can see that now, even if it's to do with like woo-woo stuff.
Yeah. Well, but you're still doing the research to solve something. So in your case, it's your identity, right?
Yes. Yeah. So for the last few months, I've been trying to understand OPS and kind of pick it apart and make sense of it, and stuff like that. And yeah, I do like solving puzzles like that, but to do with like people or the way our minds work and stuff like that. I find that a bit addictive, like magnetic.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. Double masculine, right? So
yeah,
like it's your own words, it's magnetic, so you get pulled towards it.
Yeah, exactly. But I was like, yeah, okay, now that you put it that way, it makes more sense, because I was thinking not really into kind of typical NT stuff, like NT themes and stuff. So I couldn't understand it. But yes, I get that more now. Thank you.
Yeah. So it's interesting because you have TI at the bottom, but one of your saviors touches that TI, and it's masculine also. So a lot of EJs, especially like ESFJs and ENFJs, they struggle with feeling dumb and stupid. But like because your NT is a savior, do you feel like, you know, for you personally, how do you feel about, you know, that feeling? Like do you feel like you're that way, or no, not so much?
Let me look for the TI thing. No, I haven't ever had that issue. Like there are certain areas where I know my brain doesn't work very quickly, like mathematics or whatever. Like I might feel dumb in that area, but given the time to work on it, I can understand it. So yeah, that's never really been an issue for me. But I mean, something that, and it was through one of your videos it was the video you did with Julia and Maggie,
Yeah.
the ESFJ jumper, and Julia was talking about her sleep last, the SITI.
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh, okay, now I get it. Because before then I was like, I don't even understand how I'm sleep last.
Yeah.
Well, probably classic sleep last line.
Yeah.
But it's with the ST things that I feel incompetent or really unconfident with them. And I'd probably, I mean, is it dumb? I don't know. Dumb is not the right word. It's more, I feel unconfident with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it makes sense because the NT is more correlated with intelligence, while the ST is correlated with like competence. So I guess for you, because your ST is the last one, the fourth one, then the feeling of incompetence is what you would struggle with. Can you talk about that feeling of feeling incompetent because of the ST at the sleep last, ST at the back?
Yeah, it's awful. It's like, and it is only or mainly with ST stuff, and it's even things that I do all the time. And that, like, for example, cooking, my family will always say to me, oh, you're really good at cooking, and I still to this day will not accept that, because I'm just like, well, I only really do simple things. I have to follow recipes because I don't remember them unless I've done it like a million times. And because I haven't got like 100% success rate, it's like, well, I'm not a good cook. I'm not like cordon bleu cook. And I'll still feel, if I have to like cook dinner for people that aren't my immediate family, I will get anxious, like I'm going to do something wrong or something. So it's even something that usually it turns out fine, but it will give me like stress. And then other things like DIY, like forget it. I just want either to do it with someone or have someone talk me through it, because it just does not come naturally. So yeah. And I still don't drive. So it's like, yeah, I've got my license, but the thought of like going on the road with all the other drivers and everything, and it's just like, I just don't feel like I've had enough practice with it. And living in a city pretty much, or so close to the city, we don't need to, we've got really good public transport, or we can just walk everywhere. So yeah, if I haven't been able to practice something like in the physical world, if I haven't been able to practice it loads, like so much, I'll feel unprepared, and I'll feel definitely unconfident, and I'll feel incompetent with it, and be really nervous.
Yeah, I think it's extra hard for you also because it's in sleep. So like it's very personal. So it's like, it's not like as easy as like just asking for help, which is what technically you're supposed to do, especially with your like with your sleep animal. Like you almost have to pretend it doesn't hurt, if someone's like trying to like coach you through it. Like I have SF last, right? So if someone was trying to coach me like fashion and stuff, I'm like, ooh, okay, okay, tell me please, because like I'm insecure about this topic, or because
so SF. You're happy to learn about it. You're happy to have people coach you through it.
Well, I am now, yeah, of course, because like I know it's not real, like the feeling is not real, because it's just like my type, right? So I'm like, okay, or sometimes like when people are having like SF talk at my work, I'm like, it's my sleep, right? So I'm like, okay, let's I'm just like getting really awkward and weird about it, but like now I'm like now I'm gonna pretend it's not weird, I'll go talk about it, but inside it's not right, so
you try and avoid it?
No, I don't try to avoid. I just like
uncomfortable doing it.
It's personal, so I get uncomfortable doing it, but I know it's the right thing to do. Is to just bring it out in the light. Like I don't know if you know Brene Brown, like the author.
I've heard of her. Yeah, I haven't read any of her stuff though.
Oh yeah, she's the best. I love her stuff. It's like she talks about emotions, vulnerability, shame, like all those stuff. I'm like, oh, she's like she's one of my top 3 favorite go-to in terms of like self-help stuff.
Oh, okay. I'll have to look it up.
Yeah, you would relate to her stuff. Like Oprah loves her stuff, right? Because like, it's all about like feelings and
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
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 fine. I'll be
yeah,
right at home.
yeah. And I think her audiobook's really good too because like she's so good at talking. She's so funny. She's like very good sense of humor. She's an ICJ like blast play, sleep consume.
What? No way.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. And anyways, so in her book, she always talks about the shame gremlin. So it's like whenever you're
Mhm.
ashamed of something,
Oh, so do you feel more shame when it comes to your SF sleep? Like if it's brought to the light?
it's well, let me explain the Brene Brown stuff first, and then I'll talk about
Oh,
my book.
okay. All right. All
Yeah,
right.
so Brene Brown said that um the shame gremlin only gets to you if you hide it in the dark because that's where they thrive. But if you shine the light on it, like you expose it out in the open, then
Right.
it can't hurt you anymore, right? So
Mm.
yeah, so for me it's like SF at the end. So I'm like, okay, if I just openly show it to everyone, even if I feel weird or awkward about it, then I feel like it has like a less impact. So that's what I've
Yeah.
been practicing, the past few years. Like just put it out there, and
And
eventually you get used to it.
what does that look like for you? So when you're putting your SF out there, what's like an example of that?
Like if I value something or I feel something, I just tell them straight up, like, oh, I'm
Ah,
feeling, like let's say I'm EJ, right? So I'll be like, I'm feeling disrespected, which is like a typical like EJ thing to say, So
yeah.
I'll just say it out in open, or
Oh my
I
God.
feel I feel I feel like butthurt about what you said, or
Yeah.
I just like say it instead of like hiding it, like instead of being passive aggressive or whatever. I
Yeah. I
just
feel
say it.
like that would be really hard. Like that would be really hard for me as well.
Yeah, but yours is like the ST version of it. It's like, can I show you how that works? It's like showing people how,
Oh,
like show, or it's like, or can you teach me how this works? Because I don't know how it works. I'm feeling dumb, or
yeah.
I'm feeling incompetent, and then
Yeah.
I use
I
like,
feel I feel like your SF would be harder than asking someone how something works. But I tell you what, if someone to show someone and ask like for their evaluation and say like I made this ST thing or I put
yeah,
this thing together, and to think that they might criticize it, that would be like that's top tier awkward.
yeah,
Although your SF sounds like I would find that very hard as well to tell someone that I felt offended
yeah.
or hurt or something. So they're both pretty. they both feel like tricky situations.
I think because like your animal, I feel like it has like several dimensions to it. So I think for me, sharing my feelings, it used to be it's because my FI second.
Mm,
Once I got the ball rolling with it, I feel like it wasn't the hardest thing in the world because it's second. But
okay.
I think that the SF side itself is where I get like really insecure. That's where like I get insecure. So even Dave and Shan knew right away when they typed me, they're like, oh, Kendrick, it looks like you're doing the sleep processing thing already. It looks like you have 50% use of your SF last, sleep last. But they're like, but yeah, you probably want to work in that SF thing. I'm like, even they can see that the SF is the problem, So
Yeah,
and they don't
yeah,
have FE. Usually the FE people would catch that, right? But like, if the TE people can catch it, it's like clearly a problem area. So
yeah,
but it's okay. It's cool. It's cool. Like, because Shan gave me Shan's advice to me was like, just show everyone your SF. Just show everyone. Just openly talk about it. Just don't hide it.
yeah,
It's like if you want people to get to know you for you, then you have to show the real you to people.
yeah,
And that's
yeah,
that's your sleep, right? So for me, it's SF. For you, it's ST. So if you want people to get to know
yeah.
the real Sanya, then you have to show people your ST, your
So
confidence,
making things and stuff. God, yeah.
or
See
doing
that
or doing or
would
doing
trick
things
me.
or doing things.
Oh my God. I mean, yeah, I can do things, but I don't know. I guess, yeah, maybe if I'm trying to make sense of it, because there's some things I don't mind doing. Like if I'm working together with people, I don't mind doing the thing. If it's like something, a creative thing that I'm making, like cooking or whatever, and then have to share it with others, that's really difficult. That's really difficult on a comfort level. That feels awkward.
Yeah.
So maybe I need to do that more. Oh, see, I'm cringing already. Oh, no way. Look
That's
at the
okay.
wardrobe I built. Look at the no, that's all right as long as it doesn't fall over and break.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, it is. I mean, the good thing about you is you have the NT consume, so at least you can research before you can blast it out, right? So that's like your superpower.
Yeah.
I can see with like the blaster ESFJs having this problem because they want to start before researching, and then and then that's how you get. That's why you feel like insecure because like your finished product there was no research to
Yeah.
done in the back end to really do it right.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, if you watch like the ISTPs, for example, like they have ST consume, right? So they research heavily when they're like before they do something. So that's why they can like repair cars or like do all the
Oh
cool
my
stuff,
goodness, I know.
They do a lot of ST research, right?
Yeah, that's amazing. The thing is, I find ST research so boring, Kendrick.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my goodness, I can't remember. Oh my God, how often am I going to use this example? Because this is like literally the only ST thing I've done all year. We put in a floor in a spare bedroom upstairs. It took me a year of procrastinating to even get to doing this thing. And I was trying to research beforehand. And it's just like, oh, like the instructions are so boring. The YouTube videos are so boring.
Yes.
So it's like pulling teeth, even being able to make yourself get through the research to do the thing. But anyway, we got there in the end. And that's why I'm going to milk this thing for all time that we achieved it.
Well, how did it feel when you got it done though? It must have felt really good.
Yeah, amazing. I mean, we've got another room to do, which is still being procrastinated on. I might get to it within the next 12 months if we're lucky.
Yeah, maybe when it's not so hot in London where you are.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. Well, yeah, that's a good excuse to procrastinate it. We'll wait till it cools down.
It's valid. Yeah, wait till autumn.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's kind of weird because I was thinking about it too. Like this past few days, I was like, like I like your for us with the sleep last, like our sense of I don't know achievement, I guess, or sense of like achievement or accomplishment comes with doing that fourth animal. So it's like it's kind of annoying, but it is that is where it is. So it for you it seems like it's like the actual ST letter. That you're having trouble with, and for me it's like the actual like the SF thing and
the SF. Yeah, isn't that interesting? So for you it's not so much the SI, it's SF.
No, the SI triggers me. Like when I go to work, I have to do like data entry for what part of my job, and I get triggered doing it. I'm like, oh my God, I hate data entry. It's like the most boring SI thing to do. Yeah, like my new job, I do recruitment, which is great for me because I'm lead play, double activated NT play. So that part is
perfect.
Yeah, no, so I can solve the problem of like staffing and whatnot. And then I do a little bit of HR stuff too, which is also not too bad. But then you get to the data entry, the admin side, because that's my third job description. I'm like, oh my God, this is hard. Like,
oh no.
And your fourth function is your I'll ask you about this, by the way. I'm really curious. Your fourth function is your triggering function. So even though I have ST as a savior, the SI triggers the hell out of me. Like data entry, I'm like dying inside. And I just have to tell myself, I'm like, Kendrick, this is training. This is just training. This is SI training. Just and I'm like,
you're strengthening that muscle.
Yeah, and I'm triggered the whole time. I'm triggered. I feel triggered. Like I'm triggered. So that's why I want to ask you. Your fourth animal is also in. Your second animal is NT consume, and kind of like my second animal is ST blast. So it's touching your fourth function, TI in your case.
Yeah.
And because TI is your triggering function, whenever you have to do something for yourself or put a lot of thought into something about yourself, do you get triggered by that? Like what does that look like, or how does that feel?
I mean, I think it depends. I was trying to think of this because, okay, I'll be honest with you. I never thought I had TI. I thought I might have had TE, even if it was possibly demon. I didn't think I had TI. And I've been trying to think how it shows up in me. And I mean, probably because it's last, I don't see it that much.
Yeah.
But thinking about things, I don't mind thinking about myself. I don't mind thinking about like NF stuff. I don't like I said before, reading instructions and thinking about, like, if you were to ask me to think about how I would put a wardrobe together, like, no, I just want to lay down and put something in my eyes. Yeah. Just like, no way. So I don't like that. I don't like thinking about things like, if you ask me to do a mathematical equation, like, no, again, that's like, get it away from me. So I don't know if that's how it shows up. But if you were to ask me to work out, which maybe it's not TI, I don't know, what are some examples of TI? I can't see it in myself.
Well, I don't have TI, so it's kind of hard, but
yeah. Okay, yeah.
I can give examples, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the only place I thought I could see it in myself was like the way I was trying to pick apart, when I got my type back, trying to pick apart each function and animal and sort of going, well, do I see that in my life? How do I see that play out? Is that accurate? Is that not? And not wanting to accept it until I'd really kind of looked at it. But apart from that, I don't know. Yeah, but if it's TI with things like work out how to plumb in a kitchen sink, don't want to do it. Or read this rule book, I don't want to do that. Oh my goodness, board game rules, like, no. No. I give it to my second daughter. She loves reading out the board game rules. Yeah. So I don't know, maybe that's how it shows up.
Well,
does that sound right?
Well, not quite, because I think that feels more like SD consume that you're describing. There is some SI to it if you are reading step by step, like with the SI. So there is like a part of it that's way, but I think, okay, I have a few examples. I don't know if this helps. So TI is like the truth, the cold hard truth, you know.
Okay.
So I was talking to Frank James about this in like before we did like one of the interviews, and he said to me, if someone doesn't like text back to you or email back to you, it means they don't want to talk to you, you know. And he's like, that's like a TI truth, right? Or
okay.
Yeah, so I'm trying to think. Another TI truth could be like, it doesn't have to be negative, you know, it could be positive. Like for my sister, her TI truth is she's generous. That's the truth, you know. She's a generous person. That's also the truth. So it doesn't have to be negative. It could be negative and positive, but the from what I can see, it's like the truth. I don't have it, like I said, but I'm just giving examples of people that have TI and kind of like what I'm seeing.
I mean, I don't relate to any of that because it's like, you know.
Well, it's your own. So that's everyone has their own unique TI, right? So it's not like, you know, it's not like it's gonna be different from you. Like that the ESTP jumper that I interviewed recently, the standard version jumper, Samuel. I don't know if you've seen that interview, but he, in his Facebook page, he's always telling about the truths, you know, like throwing truth bombs about like fitness, you know. We'll talk about like,
yeah, I can't relate to that because and I think it's because of my NE possibly. Yeah. I don't see anything as a firm truth. It's like, you know, if you said to me, oh, is it a truth to you that you're generous? I'd be like, well, I can be. I'm generous like 80% of the time, but there's that 20% where I'm not. Yeah. I just can't. I don't see it in myself. Maybe I do have it. I don't see black and white thinking that often in myself. So even that, I can't say it's a truth. It's like, I can't see it. Maybe it is. Maybe I'm black and white in some things. So the TI's been tripping me up.
You know what? That's a good point that you bring up, because like all the examples I gave you are people with extrovert sensing, and you have extrovert intuition. So I'm trying to think now of someone that has extrovert intuition and how they're using their TI. It's kind of hard to pull out. There's an INTP I interviewed. She is play last. she said where her TIs, her TISI, she sets reasonable goals about herself. So she said that's how she builds up confidence, is she'll set a goal that is guaranteed that she can achieve, because every time she achieves a goal that she set, then her confidence rises up. And as a result of that, she said she's very high confident because she always achieves her goal. And that's a truth, right? She always does, because how she uses it, like.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that hits home more. I can agree with that.
Yeah. Okay, there we go. Yeah, because I was
Yeah.
thinking, I was like, okay, who has NE? I'm like, oh yeah, the INTPs they do. So I like maybe that would. So okay, that makes sense. Because the people with extrovert sensing, they're very different from you guys with extrovert intuition. So it makes sense. So I'm like, okay, that's a good point that you brought up. So I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. I can relate to that.
Okay. Well, let's talk about that then. Like, do you set goals for yourself then with the TISI?
Yes. Not that many. I'm not very good. I mean, I think I do a similar thing where I set the bar really low. So like, for example, it took me ages to get into a routine of exercising in the morning, because I would do it for, like, let's say 2-3 weeks, then my routine would get interrupted, and then I'd be like, okay, whatever, and then not do it for ages. And so it wasn't until I said, if I fall off the routine, doesn't matter. Even if I don't do it for 2 weeks, doesn't matter, just start again. And then I set a goal of at least 3 times a week going out. And if I haven't done it for, sorry, this is getting long-winded now. If I haven't done it for ages, I have to set a really tiny goal. So I don't set a goal that I'll go running. I set a goal that I'm just going to do a really short walk around the block. That's like the minimum. And then once I do that, it's easier to progress to, I'll usually do more, but then the next day, because I've got a bit of momentum, then I will be able to go further the next day, and then that routine gets built up. So I don't know if that's like a goal, but it kind of is. It's like how I've managed to be able to stick to this for a few years now. Or yeah, I try and get up early. If I don't, then it's like, it's fine, just try again the next day. Does that sound like, I mean, that's a really loose goal. If I try and set like a full-on goal, like I'm going to lose 10 kilos in 3 months, I won't achieve it. Like, I'm just really bad with those kind of goals. Like specific number goals, I'm really bad with.
So it sounds like you're doing some ST sleep with the goal setting. So
yeah, really kind of babyish ST sleep goal setting, like really loose goals.
Well, that's fine. It's fourth, so you do better than nothing, right? Kind of like it's like it's like with your goal setting, right? It's better than nothing,
Yeah,
which is good.
exactly.
It's good. You gotta get started somewhere, and like you said, once you build up the momentum, you can achieve more, right? So
yeah, then it's easier to keep going with it. But it's just getting that momentum, and once it gets interrupted, oh my goodness, getting it back it's not easy.
Yeah, I think you just explained sleep there perfectly too. It's like, it's like, because it's having a routine, right? But like people with high sleep, they don't like to break their routine. Like I've noticed it with everyone with high sleep, is like, no, they're very like routine. If you break their routine, they get upset, So
yeah,
unless it's planned. Unless it's planned.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I am like that. I don't like my routine interrupted, but it's because I know that if I lose the momentum, forget it. It's going to take me ages to try and get that momentum back again. I can't just jump straight back into it. I've got to start again with the baby steps.
Yeah. I totally get you, because I have sleep loss also, so totally understand where you're coming from.
Yay.
Yeah, I also like how you apologized before you blasted earlier. You're like, oh, sorry, this might be long-winded because you have demon blood. I'm like, no, keep talking, go ahead.
Really? Oh wow. I just think, because like, if the thought isn't pre-processed, it feels like it's a tangle inside my head. So trying to untangle it as I'm speaking, it can get messy. That's why I have to apologize.
It's okay. You're lead play like me, so it's gonna be. We're not gonna be like super organized, you know.
No, that's true.
Yeah, yeah. But the superpower of our play is like when we talk, it's like smooth back and forth, you know, kind of like right now.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah. You can roll with the punches, you know. It's not like awkward or anything.
Yeah. Like if you interrupt me, it's fine.
Yeah. Sometimes with playlist, it can get a little bit it loses that flow of like the interaction because of because if you're play last, then they have like double activated sleep, so they have to go inside, and then that just like destroys the flow of the conversation, right?
Oh, so what, they every time you ask a question, they have to go inside and find the answer? Or
Yeah,
like being interrupted once they're on a flow?
Yeah, something like that. Like they're thinking about it first, and then they give you an answer with their blast. And then sometimes they don't react if you try to throw a joke at them, because like we're info dominant, so we're obsessed with information. But we do have to play at the front. So if we need to like joke, we'll throw the tribe something like fun at the before we get started with a serious conversation. We'll do something fun first with a play, right? You know.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, I said my interview with the ESTP. I saw Samuel doing it. You know, he's like obsessed with the info, but like he'll throw like something fun first. You know, like before he gets deep into the information. So I thought that was kind of interesting. It's like, oh, okay, that's what the play first people are doing.
Yeah, that is interesting. I've never picked up on that before, but that's a good observation.
Yeah, because I noticed I do it at work. Like I go to my boss, and then my boss energy dominantly just wants to like, tell me like funny stories all the time. So I can roll with the punches. I play, right, so I can do the energy stuff. But eventually, I do get obsessed with the info, kind of like us right now. Like, oh.
Yeah, give me the information. Give me the info. Can you believe I was out of all of the animals, I'm like, no, it's not an animal. I don't know. I was like 99%. I'm sure that I'm energy dominant.
Yeah,
because like I am obsessed all the time. Like I don't have the energy for that. I don't have the energy for that. But I do like getting the information.
Well, it could be because you're sleep last and you're tired.
Oh, that must be it. Yeah.
You did too much and you didn't like take a break, because I'm always tired too,
So it's that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it must be that. I want to have energy so I can collect the information. Yeah,
you sacrifice your energy for the info. It's so bad. I hate it. Like I'm playing a game on my PlayStation. The game is called Life is Strange. It's a really good game, I think, to play. I think everyone should play it. Like they talk about like a lot of like dark topics and serious topics. Like they talk about like sexuality, like the main characters are female, so like
is it the game where they just kind of talk?
Yeah, it's like a cinematic story-based game. It's like very like cinematic.
I think my husband might have played that.
Oh, it's great. It's so good. I think it's also a kind of game that like women can get into. It's not like a action game like shooting and stuff. Like women probably get turned off by that unless they're like more like tomboyish. But
it's like really story based.
Yeah, it's story, relationship.
Yeah.
I have FI, so I have demon FI, but it's still second. So I love sappy stories. I love that stuff. Like I like feed into it. But like, yeah, the story was so dark. But it doesn't start out dark. It starts out more like an emotional tugger. Like it tugs in your emotional heartstrings. Like the main character, she's like bisexual, leaning towards women more than men. Yeah. And she ends up getting like her first like female lover. And the girl is like, I think she's like split, like 50-50 men and women, so it's, and then like her best friend is like, I think she's bi-curious from what I can tell. Like she likes men more, but she's okay exploring things with women. So I was like, but the story's like really dark too. It's like, it's so messed up. With me with like masculine FI, I like it, You're
like, yeah.
No, I'm not like, yeah, but I'm like, I feel like, you know what they said about like extroverts? I have a client in my day job. He's like a psychotherapist. I work in fitness. So he told me like extroverts we need more stimulation. Apparently, that's what makes us an extrovert. Like we're understimulated, and then
Right.
introverts are apparently like overstimulated. That's why they have to hide so much. You know.
Yeah.
So for me, like this story, it's like dark, so it's like a lot of stimulation, right? It's like,
Yeah.
but it's so bad because like the story is so dark. It's so dark. Like I can't sleep. I'm thinking about the story, like before bed.
Yeah.
I'm processing it. Um, and even like at 5 a.m. This morning I woke up just to think about the story. I have to like pull out my phone and research about it because
Oh
like
my God.
'cause I'm
That's
thinking,
good. That's a sign of a good story. It's really pulled you in and stayed with you.
yeah, because I'm thinking about like humanity now, like the bad and the good, and like
Yeah.
what makes like a human good. Is being a good human really like a realistic thing? Is that what we're really meant to do in life? Is to be good. Like what is good? And I'm like thinking about it. I'm like shit. And I thought about it. I'm like shit. I'm sacrificing my energy instead of sleeping. I'm like figuring the
Oh
information
my
here.
goodness.
You know,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to understand like the human behavior. Like what is good, what is bad, what makes you a bad human, what makes you a good human. And why is that important? Because like if you look at the human history, humans have always been like there's always a person that wants to be like the alpha, and like wants to like rule over everyone, and people who are like competitive, who wants to
Yeah.
rise up to the top. People who are non-competitive, they don't really care. So I'm not very competitive unless it's like video games. So I'm like, okay, so what does that mean then? So I'm like just figuring out, like with my auntie, of course, figuring out like what's going on here. But I'm also feeling myself too. I was like, oh, I'm SF last. So I feel like um my insecurities about like the SF, like what does that mean? So
Oh,
it's like
okay.
and
So
I'm
it's
not,
helping you process that as well.
yeah, and I'm forcing my own emotion, like when this happened I feel like this, when this happened I feel like this. And
Oh, this game sounds. I want to know if it's the game my husband played, because if it is, he said it's the only game that actually got him emotional. Like I don't know if he cried or he almost cried because it was so. I don't. Have you finished it?
I finished the game, yeah.
Oh, is there like a twist at the end?
Oh, there's so many twists in the game. Yeah, there's a twist in
Oh,
there.
okay. All right. Yeah, maybe. I'll have to ask him later. Yeah, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, I mean, you should play it if your husband has it, just for like the emotional tearjerker, and to learn more about like relationship. It's so real too. Like the voice actors are so good. It's like the way they talk is how teenagers talk. This is not BS. You know,
Yeah.
like sometimes you watch a movie, like a teen movie, and they're like, that's not how teenagers talk. The teenagers are really
Yeah.
crude. So in this game, the teenagers are really crude. They'll just like drop
Oh,
the F-bomb. They talk about drugs, they talk about sex, they talk about like all sorts of stuff. And I'm like, okay, like this is how teenagers really are. Um,
yeah. And I
and like
guess being a game, it's more interactive, so it really more interactive than a movie. So it might like it really draws you in, or has the possibility of drawing you in so much more
I,
than
I
just
think
watching a film.
I think it was not, yeah, sure, you could say the interaction does play a part of it because there's like an exploration aspect of the game, you know.
Mm.
Um, and there's also puzzle solving, which is good for my NT brain. I like to solve puzzles, um, but I think it was the theme of the game that really got to me, because I think the theme of the game is the loss of innocence. Like,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's like I think when you're a teenager, that's kind of like when you transition from being like an innocent child to like adult. That's why
yeah,
the teenager is hard, and like you
yeah,
start dealing with like a lot of like negative things, like parents divorce, um, cheating, love, relationship, all that betrayal. So it's like suddenly you're out of this like fairyland, and now you're in this adulthood.
welcome to the real world.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
It's not nice.
No, it's not nice, and it gets even worse than that. Like they talk about like really messed up things like kidnapping, and like person drugging someone so they can.
God, I
uh
would find that hard, like to not get over. I mean, it sounds like it really did affect you and stay with you,
it
but
did, yeah.
stuff like that really stays with me as well, to the point where you can't sleep because you're just like,
Yeah,
um,
like it's yeah, they talk about like kidnapping young girls, drugging
yeah.
them,
Oh my
and then
God,
doing
no.
your messed up thing with them, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, Like,
Yeah.
what kind of game is this, you know? But I mean, I'm like, I'm sure this kind of shit does happen in real life, which is kind of messed up. You know, that's why I was
Yeah.
thinking about it. I'm like, this is like the worst injustice I could ever imagine to happening to anyone, like especially someone so innocent. I'm like, for me, it was like, it was like I was trying to cope with it, the situation, and I was like, I mean, I know it's a game, but you know, I also know that this happens for real. You know, it's just like
Yeah.
they don't talk about it in the news, but like
Is it kind of like a kind of a mild kind of secondary trauma that you're witnessing this in the game? And I'm only saying that because there was a TV series that we watched, I can't remember if it was last year or the year before, called I May Destroy You, which was similar. I mean, it's brilliant, absolutely genius writing and storytelling, but dark, like really dark. And I was the same, like I couldn't sleep because I was processing it, and it was like, you know, there are people that are this heartless and evil in the world and stuff like that. And you feel, I mean, it's not, it minimizes real trauma to say it's kind of like secondary trauma, but it affects you in a way where you actually feel like you need to process it and get over it.
yeah. Well, I have FI, so I need a conclusion to my emotions. So I can't stop until I conclude it. You know, it's like with TI for you, you need to conclude your thought. You know, it can't be like my TE. It's like, oh, what about this? What about this? What about that? No, it can't be like that. For you, you have to conclude it. So I don't know what that looks like for
I
you.
never find conclusions though. It's
Yeah.
like nothing ever has a conclusion.
Well, you're sleep last, so you probably haven't. It takes a long time. It's not, you're not gonna find a conclusion in, you know, one session.
Maybe in decades.
Yeah,
Oh, so do you actually get to a conclusion with feelings?
I do. Yeah, I have conclusions. I mean, I like for this thing that I just watch. I played. I don't have a conclusion yet. I'm still working on it. But I do like you know, staying awake at night to like come up with a conclusion. The bad things, I lose sleep, obviously. But
Yeah.
I do like to think about it. Like there was another movie, do you know Sylvester Stallone? You know, he makes those action movies, right?
Yeah.
So you know, the last Rambo movie, Rambo Last Blood or something.
Okay, I don't think I've seen it. I've heard of it.
Oh my god, that movie's so messed up. That is one of the most messed up movie I've ever seen. It is so messed up. They talk about like the same thing as like Life is Strange. They talk about kidnapping young girls, selling them to the cartel, getting them drugged, and they get raped while they're like drugged up. And a lot of them end up dying. And I'm like, oh my god, like that.
It's too intense.
I was just traumatized the whole movie after that. Like even when I got home, I was traumatized. I was like,
yeah.
This is so messed up. Like how, like, but I also knew that this kind of stuff does happen.
Yeah, that makes it worse.
Yeah, and it made that's what I was thinking about. I was like, oh my god, this, how do you help those people that is in this kind of situation, you know? And the loss of innocence, like that woman, if you're a girl, let's say you do get out, let's say you do escape from that situation, you're messed up forever, you know?
Yeah.
You know? So I was just like, and you know, as a double decider, you know, like double observers or like deciders, you know, like we'll talk about this in a second. You know, you guys see people as like black and white, like, oh, this person's bad, this person's good, you know.
I don't do that. I don't do that.
Yeah, maybe I don't know. Okay, well, maybe we'll like figure this out. Maybe you got mistype. I don't know. Like maybe you're an ISFJ, not like an ESFJ. But the thing is, like, you can't hide the NF though. So I think that's the part that.
No, I can't hide. No, NF is fully there.
Yeah. So because you kind of look like an ISFJ, you have like an ISFJ look, you know.
Do I? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, you have like an ISFJ look, but you have your lead NF, so you can't be an ISFJ. So so
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I've been trying to think with the decider thing. Oh, sorry, no. Finish what you were saying before.
Yeah, because you don't look like an ENTP. So I mean, the only way is like maybe an ENTP jumper, right? NEFE, which would make sense based on the kind of stuff you're describing about yourself. But
yeah,
because you would also be lead NF as well, but you don't seem like an ENTP for some reason. There's like no, so I don't know.
I don't think my TI is that high in the stat.
Yeah, so, but you know what? We don't have any play, consume, blast, sleep in the group as like as an ESFJ. So you're the first one. So it's kind of cool talking to you and learning about.
Oh, okay. Oh,
yeah,
cool.
you're unique in the group. You know.
Oh wow! Really? There's no. I suppose not with sleep last. Yeah.
Yeah, we have a blast last. but
Yeah.
we don't have a sleep last. You're the first.
Oh, so
Um,
maybe that. I mean, I thought when you were interviewing, oh, I can't remember his name. Oh God, here we go. Feminine sensory. He's an INTJ. He was typed on the same day as me. Oh my God, I've even spoken to him. It's so embarrassing. And he was saying how he was an observer with people problems.
is it the play
And
last? The play last
yeah,
INTJ?
yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and then I was like, oh, I feel like a decider with thing problems. So maybe it's something in my stack that like just makes me less decidery. Like I don't see people in black and white like you're good, you're bad. I think I'm quite good at double deciding, but I do get very, and I don't have people problems very often. They're very rare. I have thing problems all the time. But if I do get hurt by a person, I take it very personally. So I thought maybe that's where it comes out. Like I will feel really, really hurt by it.
I think maybe that's your savior consume double masculine that helps you a lot because it gives you like a really good external self-awareness. So when if something happens to you that it's your fault, maybe you would take ownership of it.
Yes.
Because you can
Yeah.
see yourself so vividly from an external perspective,
Yeah.
so that's what double deciding is, right? Seeing yourself in others,
Yeah.
and because you have double masculine consume, you can see yourself very vividly. It's
Yeah. That's
double
true.
masculine and it's a savior, you know.
Yeah. 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 I would definitely see my part in it.
Yeah.
If there's a problem, I can see my part in it 100%. Sometimes I will take too much responsibility and just blame it on myself. But if I step back, I can kind of go, well, I can see both of our issues.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that would make sense. Okay. That makes sense why that would
Yeah.
happen. Oh, that's super cool though. That's interesting. Um yeah, but
Yeah.
anyway, so earlier I was talking about the movie, right?
Oh,
And
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
in the game. So it's like I start saying like deciders kind of see people as black and white, except for you. You're kind of like you're a weird decider because you have the double masculine anti-consume.
Yeah. I don't see many things in black and white. So that could just be part of that.
Yeah, I mean, it could be like that INTJ guy who has a lot of people problems. I have a lot of people problems
Yeah.
too because I'm like
Yeah.
lead play and then I'm sleep last. So, but
Yeah.
but yeah, I do see that there is such thing as like people who are genuinely evil. There is such thing as like, but you have to peel a lot of layers before you can find out who's really evil and who's really
Yeah.
who seems evil, but it's because they're a victim of their circumstance.
That's the thing. It's like I know there's people who are evil, but I always think there's a reason why they got there. Like, were they born evil? I don't know. I doubt that anyone is born evil. And there's just so much that goes into it. I think it's really hard to say, like, no, this person is just like point blank 100% evil, even though they're mostly evil and you wouldn't want them in society. And it's just like, yeah, keep them in isolation for the rest of their lives. So yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
it's hard to say. In that movie Rambo, for example, like
Yeah.
the girl who got sold to the cartel to be used as a sex slave, pretty much, it was her female friend that sold her because the female friend wanted her bracelet. They wanted her bracelet. So
no way.
it was out of greed, you know. So it was interesting. And I was born in Philippines. So when I was young there, that kind of stuff happened where like an overweight white American pedophile would come to the Philippines. And obviously they couldn't get what they wanted in the US in terms of like a partner, I guess, or even someone to hook up with. So they go to the Philippines and then they'll pay off family to give their young girl to them. And it's so messed up. It's so messed up. So like,
yeah, that's really messed up.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, even though I saw it in a movie, I knew it was real because I've seen it. Like I went to a mall before. I saw
Yeah.
an overweight, American guy with it's like a girl who looks like she was 14, and then I was like,
Oh, yeah, that brings up rage. That's
it,
awful. Yeah, those kind of people should not be allowed in society.
yeah. So, but then I was talking to like, so I feel like that's really messed up. But like, there's also people who are like victim of their circumstance, because that person decided to act on it, right? So I feel like,
Yeah.
just like some people might have those feelings, but they know it's not right to act on it, so they'll find an outlet for it. In that case, I think it's okay. Like I was talking to my client who's like that's like psychotherapist. He said that those people are a victim of their circumstance because they're attracted to someone young,
Yeah.
and they were born that way, you know. So what should they do? So for him, he's like, I think they should just draw pictures and like, use that as their outlet for that kind of stuff, or something like that. So I was like, okay. So I feel like humans are like, there's like different layers to it. There's like genuine evil and people who are like a victim of their circumstance. And then there's people who are like acting like a victim, but you can actually take responsibility for your life. So yeah, it's like, it's not like black and white.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of layers, and then again, every single circumstance is different.
Right.
And every circumstance is layered in different ways. So it's really hard. It's really hard to just give a black and white reason. Although I would say people who act on those kind of impulses that is pretty evil.
Yeah, no, it's evil, 100%. Like there's no. Yeah. All right, let's move on from this dark topic. No,
I have to check out that game, even though like I already know if I play it, that's the kind of game that stays with you for weeks, and it's not pleasant.
Yeah, I'm playing the second one, Life is Strange 2, and it already became dark.
Goodness.
It was
you
like
went back for more.
Yeah, no, it's kind of addictive because like it's I feel like I'm sleep last, so I can't tap into my emotion unless it's something intense. That's why I'm drawn to this kind of stuff, so I can tap into those feelings.
And with that's because your SF sleep last.
I'm SF sleep last. So for me to tap into it, I feel like I need intense emotional experience. It has to be so intense that I cannot look away, and I'm forced to look into it.
Oh, wow. That's really interesting.
So for you might have a version of that with like ST. Like it's so challenging that you have to do it. I don't know. Like you feel.
I mean, yeah, it could. No, that was not ST. With ST stuff, if it's in the physical world, no, Kendrick, there is nothing in the physical world that is ST so challenging that I want to do it.
Oh, I mean
opposite. I mean, NT stuff, maybe, like if it's like, for example, when I first discovered OPS, it was so complicated. I was just like, what is this thing? And I love that. I love the challenge of trying to understand that. But yeah, that's not ST though, is it? That would be more NT, maybe?
Maybe.
I don't know. Yeah, if ST's physical stuff, like, no, I hate everything to do with it.
Did you say you were married?
Yeah.
Yeah. And do you have kids?
Yes. Yep. I've got 3 of my own and 3 stepkids.
Oh wow, that's a lot of kids.
Yeah, they're all adult. I mean, my youngest is nearly 18, so they're all pretty much adults.
Oh wow, you must have had them like really, really young or something.
Yeah. In my 20s.
Yeah.
They were all kind of close together in age as well. So.
Oh, you had them in a row.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get it over with kind of deal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They had each other to be like, always had friends. So that was good.
I feel like if they asked you to build them something and they only want it from you, I think maybe you would do it if it's like a personal request from your kids. I don't know.
I would, but I wouldn't do it very well.
But you would do it, right?
I'd just slapdash it together. I don't know. Would I do it? I put together a trampoline for them once. I've put together their bunk beds.
Oh yeah, and how was that?
It was an ordeal, but but it's lovely when it's done. It's like a huge sense of accomplishment when it's done.
Yeah.
But actually doing it was not enjoyable. So yeah, maybe. But see, one of them is really good at that kind of stuff. So she loves it. She's just like, oh, do it. Okay.
You have like a lead ST daughter or something.
I don't know what her
Savior
yeah,
ST.
maybe.
Savior ST.
Yeah, I think she might be like possibly SCTE, possibly.
Oh, an ESFP. Okay, yeah, those guys are good at that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But then she's always socializing, so she's never at home to do that stuff anymore.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, high play also. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I never see her. I see her like once a week if I'm lucky.
Yeah. Well, it is what it is.
Yeah, that's low.
Yeah. All right. I want to talk to you about your. I have two last questions. We'll wrap up the interview. Okay. So the first one is your double feminine SF blast. Can you talk about that? Like, you know.
Okay, so that's another one. I can't see that in myself because I thought, first of all, I don't feel like my blast is feminine unless it's because I get lost. I'm not good at just like saying the point and sticking to it. I might get lost when I'm talking like I'm doing now. But I always feel like my blast is more NF because it's like I love talking to people about their emotions or woo-woo subjects, like, I don't know, astrology or human design or weird stuff like that I don't like fully believe, but I just love talking about it and like thinking about it. I can't think what SF blast would look like. So well, FESI blast, I'm not sure what that would look like.
Well, the way I've seen it is it could be a good and a bad thing too. In a good, you can use it for good and bad, obviously. It's like trying to get people to feel comfortable, you know, like, oh, here you look like you're hungry or you look tired. Why don't you
oh god, yeah, okay, I'll do that.
Yeah, here's like, you know, why don't you have a sit on the couch, you know, I'll get you something to drink or something. Or
yeah, okay, yeah, do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Or like, but it's like very gentle, it's like very friendly, you know, because it's double feminine. Or like if your kid's like acting up, it's like, you know, that's not really nice for you to say that, you know, like don't you know, like don't.
Yeah, I don't that's where I don't see it. I feel like I'm too blunt, and which is why like a lot of time I try and hold back from saying stuff because I feel if I just let myself rip, I'll be like too blunt.
Okay, so, if it's not your kids, how would you do it though? If it's
not my kids, I'll be very gentle.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, I think it's different if it's your.
Yeah, fair enough. I don't want to tell other people's kids off or anything. I don't want to like no.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I mean. Or like another adult, you know, like they're acting weird or something or poorly.
Oh, that depends. That depends how annoying they are. Because I can always be like, no, stop.
Yeah.
But yeah, if they're not being over the top, like if they're still within the bounds of decency, then I'll be gentle with them.
I see. Got it. So I guess it comes out more with you like being a host or something, you know, like people come over and you want to make them like feel nice and stuff, you know.
Yeah, I do that. Yeah. I mean, I'm not, like I said, I'm not super sociable. Like I'm not like, yay, let's all have parties and host dinners and stuff like that. No way. I'm not like that at all. I need a lot of alone time and a lot of downtime. But if we do have people over, then I will do my best to make them feel comfortable for sure.
Yeah.
And if they're thirsty or they're hungry, and try and think like, what do they like? And I'll make that. And how do you know, if they tell me how they like their tea or coffee, then I'll remember that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
There we go. That's where it's coming from, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, those kind of things for sure. If they just mention in passing something that they like, then and it's coming up to Christmas, then I will like file that away. So yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense too when you said you need a lot of alone time. You have double masculine consume, right? So you want to consume by yourself. So
that's it.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a savior too. So yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah.
But you do have high place. So I guess if people want to hang out and stuff, you're okay with it too. You're flexible.
Yeah. Yeah. If I'm with people, then I'm happy to be with people, and you know, I can do the play and stuff like that. But what I really need is, I can do that if it's like, let's say 10 or 20% of the time, but most of my time, like 80 to 90% of my day, I have to be alone and just And if I don't get time to work on the things that I love, like, oh my God, I get so grumpy. I get so grumpy.
That's funny.
Yeah, but when I'm with people, I'm very friendly, and I feel like I can relate to people quite easily.
Oh, well, I can see it with your high play. I've been talking to you now for like an hour, and it's been quite easy to talk to you. So definitely
Oh.
save your play, double activated. I can see that too.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So Sanya, last question. Tester and visual. That's the last question here. So tester is with smell and taste. Because yours is SI, not like SE. Your sensory function, I mean. Do you have like favorite food or favorite taste or like favorite go-to scents that you go to? Like you.
Oh, scent. Yes, I love neroli. Oh, I just love it. The essential oil neroli is like the best scent in the whole universe. Tastes. Yeah, pretty much. I could just eat the same thing all the time. Yeah, I love like mango, number one ever. Yeah, I find I can get into, like, if I didn't have a family, I'd probably just eat the same things every day, or like eat the same things for a week and then try something else the week after. So yeah, for sure. Love taste, love food too much. And I have quite a strong sense of smell. So disgusting smells really affect me. Like if something stinks, I can't concentrate. We have to get rid of it.
Yeah.
We have to deal with it. And I love nice smells.
It's weird with the extrovert sensors that are tested. If it's something smells bad, they still have to smell it.
No.
It's so weird.
No way, do they?
Yeah, it's so weird.
No, how?
They're like, it smells so bad, but
no, who does that?
they do.
No way, that's crazy. Never, never in my life. Never.
It's extrovert sensing, right? So they're curious, they have to explore it.
No, I hate it. I hate stuff like that so much.
I know. So
much.
You can make fun of your friends with extrovert sensing. Like, oh, do you need to smell this?
Yeah, gross. I didn't even know that existed. I didn't know people like that existed in the world.
Oh, there's a lot of them. So
what's wrong with them? Ugh, yuck. That's why my husband did a game once where he had he put these disgusting smells. Well, some were nice smells. You can get them in these little bottles.
Yeah.
Distilled smells. Some were nice and some were disgusting. And he put them on these polystyrene balls, and we put them in sandwich bags. And the game was the people had to smell them and try and guess what the scent was. I didn't want to go anywhere near those things, but they did it. Those people actually did it. So I thought they were just doing it for the game, but maybe they were extroverted sensing.
Yeah, especially the one with tester.
Oh.
the double feminine, or I guess the visual would also do this. They have to smell it.
No way. Like, just no. Like, I can smell it from here, thanks.
Yeah. It's funny. It's funny. I've noticed it. I'm like, you're weird.
That's gross. I don't know. I wonder what the equivalent is for, what the opposite is.
With the NE?
Taste? Would I want to taste it? No. Yeah, don't know. Oh yeah, NE, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. We have our own version for sure.
We want to think about something dark. I don't know. Oh, something that you said, I wanted to tell you this because I was just like, this is when I thought I must have NE. You said it in one of your videos how the thought of the apocalypse or something like that actually gets you a little bit excited.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
And then you said you were on Hawaii and these people were living on the beach and they invited you to stay, and like part of you was like a bit excited.
Yeah.
Me, 100%, 100%. Like the thought of like the end of the world coming. There's a part of me that's like, yeah, come on, let's do it.
There's something exciting about it for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, it's weird. Yeah, like when those people, the one who left society, they're kind of they're like total hippies. Like one of them was naked too. You could see his like thing hanging out and stuff. And his girlfriend was also just like topless, and I'm like, okay, whatever. Like they're like free spirits, you know.
They're just living there, and like the thought, I wouldn't want to live like that forever.
No,
but a few months. Yeah.
So they invited me, like, yeah, just come stay here for 8 months. I'm like,
Yeah.
I sat there. I was thinking about it. I was looking at like the possibility, right?
Yeah,
Like,
maybe that's the NE equivalent. Like maybe an extroverted sense. No, does that make sense? They'd be like, ew, why would you think about that? Why would you get excited about the end of the world?
yeah, I don't know. I guess they're not looking at the possibility. They just think it's bad. I don't know. But
Yeah.
like for us, it's like, whoa, that's kind of exciting to think about it, you know?
There's so much you can do. It's like everything starts again fresh from the
Yeah.
beginning almost.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I would think I'm like, how would I cope? How would I, react, So it's kind of
Exactly.
exciting. Yeah. So yeah, okay. Yeah, that could be the any that's a good pattern that you just discovered there with your masculine any. Yeah. Okay. Last thing, visual. So do you learn by seeing, or like do you have a very good
Yes.
visual memory and stuff?
No, I have a terrible visual memory, but I do learn by seeing. So I do have to have something. I do have to have like visual notes. Then I'll also have to like write them down, which could be the tester, like kind of actually physically having to write it down. And I'd like to like watch a video or see someone doing something so that I can copy it then.
Gotcha.
Yeah, 100%.
Well,
I
guess-
relate to my visual and tester. Yeah.
all right. Well, that's good. That's something. Because like
Yeah, yay.
yeah, yay. Because your type is it's not common. So I mean, in a group at least. So
Yeah, we need some more so we can see.
yeah, definitely. I'd like to interview someone like similar type as you again, like play consume last
Yeah.
week. Yeah, because that would be cool to see the difference and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Sanya. Thanks for coming out and doing this interview and sharing more about your story, your life, and yeah,
Oh, thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
yeah, and yeah. Don't boil too much in London in your 40 degrees Celsius weather.
I'll try not to. I'll try. It'll be 15 degrees next week, I'm sure. It
good.
never lasts. It never lasts.
Yeah, let's hope so. Did you guys have a winter that was like super hot too? Like not too long ago? The last
Oh,
Yeah, London had a super hot.
Possibly.
Is it, you guys had a warm winter, right? It's like-
Possibly. Feminine sensory, I don't remember exactly. But that does ring a bell. Yeah.
Yeah.
We haven't had snow for I don't know, years.
Really?
In London. In London at least.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. So they're definitely getting warmer and warmer. But yeah. I can't say for sure if our last winter was super warm because that was a long time ago, Kendrick.
That's
That was almost 8 months ago.
That's true. All right. Well, see you and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Okay, thank you again. Bye.
Bye.